my passion is acting and producing,
Really?
but I kind of found the stunt stuff by accident because I just love training, like
Yeah.
physically, and I've always been a fighter. So like I just started doing stuff like I did the Dead Man not too long ago. That was like first time doing that, and that was fun. I was like, all right, let's And
Yeah.
then I love doing fight stuff. So
I think the big thing for me, advice would be go outside of your safety zone. Just go where you're nervous. If you're doing something that makes you feel a little bit nervous, you're doing something right. It's a strange, artistically, stunt wise is something else altogether, but artistically, you want to always push yourself. The film over your right shoulder, is that Bloodsport?
it is. Yep, Bloodsport.
Did Newt Arnold direct that?
I think
Have a quick peek on there.
so.
Is it Newt Arnold?
Yes, Newt Arnold.
Newt Arnold was a first AD. He was a second AD for Sam Peckinpah. His AD, Robin Oliver, was the guy that I apprenticed with, who worked with Newt. Yeah.
Wow.
Robin did Mortal Kombat. It was the first, but he was Newt's second, and Newt was Cliff Coleman's second on pictures like The Wild Bunch and some of the other Peckinpah pictures. So he's one of, he had one eye, I think. I think that was one of the only films he directed. But interesting.
He was a cinematographer, right? Wasn't he?
AD.
AD. Oh, so he was an AD instead of. I was surprised he went to. Well, I guess that works too, directing, which is interesting.
I don't know the story of how he got that one to direct, but at one point, when the martial arts movies were truly C fodder, basically before Double Impact, before Moshe Daimon got the studio to back Double Impact, and they told him he was mad. They said this will be the last film you ever do, studio film. Prior to that, they were seen as really, the only guys that were directing were complete nobodies, and you'd find an assistant director to do it, or you'd find, some B movie guy that was living in an ashtray somewhere. They had no one paid any attention to him. It was literally the change came with Double Impact, which was a studio picture, which made a tremendous amount of money. Moshe Daimon saw that, and he was the guy that really revolutionized them and made them something that people had a little bit more respect for. I talked to him for a long time before I did Avengement. I took him out to dinner, and we talked. And for a little while there, I was actually going to make Avengement with Scott playing both brothers, and we were going to do it.
Interesting, like a Double Impact. Okay.
Yeah, because he said that was the fun thing about doing it. You got two for the price of one. And and if you ask Scott, if you ever interview him, that was my initial pitch, and I flew to England with the view to shooting it with him playing the good guy and the bad guy. And then at some point we're like, it's just going to be too difficult, and and we went looking for a brother that could be really intimidating. We found Craig Fairbrass, and we never looked back from there.
Yeah.
But it was interesting. It's a small world. But yeah, it's very important to look back at the history, because we repeat ourselves in the movie industry every 8 to 10 years. It's a seismic shift, and everything changes, and people want a different style of movie. And this has been going on since 1918. Everyone thought movies were going to end with the advent of sound. Everyone thought movies were going to end with the advent of color. Everyone thought TV came out. Everyone just committed suicide. We're not going to make any more movies. Everyone's watching television now. 3D comes out. It's and a shift, and it's worth looking at. But also with trends, with regard to the westerns and martial arts, and where they started from. It pays to know a little bit, so you can predict when they come, and whatnot.
What's interesting? You just saying that too. I just interviewed Sheldon Lettich. Sheldon Lettich wrote Bloodsport. He wrote and directed Double Impact as well, and stuff like that. So it's just a small world, and you start, talking people in the industry, it's definitely it's interesting. It's an interesting business. I'm still learning it, even though I think you always are at some point,
I think you have to maintain the position of student, You have to understand when you have the experience to validate a particular decision, but you also have to be ready to learn from someone and learn from a different way of doing something, and sit back and watch and listen, and act accordingly, not to be a know-it-all, not to know, just to be continuously learning. You know, there's that wonderful line at the end of Kurosawa's biography where he says, I think I learned the last lesson on how to make a movie. And you turn the next page and it's blank. And you're like, no. It's, you know, it's a game, but yeah, you're always learning.